Hey, what's happening, Nation? It's Son Joku. Raiders released their first unofficial depth chart today. You know damn well we're going to draw this thing up and take a look at it. I was super excited. There was a few things that stood out to me that I wanted to talk about real quick. We're going to look at the offense and the defense. Stick around for a few minutes while we take a look at this. If you are new to the channel, please do think about subscribing. I really would appreciate that. It does help me out and keep me growing. We're going to start with the offense tonight. The offensive line shook out pretty much exactly like we thought it was going to. Like I said, this offensive line is the biggest question mark that we have on this team right now, but if they can hold up, this offense is going to be freaking amazing, and I promise you guys that. Then we'll go ahead and jump into the tight ends. Waller's number 1, Foster's number 2, but then listed as number 3, it's Bushman and Carrier, which is honestly cool to see. It means those two guys really are fighting for that third spot on this depth chart. I'm really thinking Bushman could end up pulling it out. I understand that Carrier brings the special teams aspect to it, but I really think Bushman could end up filling out that role for us as well. Close eye on that battle. It's going to be a fun one to watch through the preseason. And after that, we'll go ahead and jump into the wide receivers. This one stood out to me for one reason and one reason only. Zay Jones is the number 2 behind Bryan Edwards. A lot of people have Zay Jones completely wrote off, myself included. I was honestly pulling for Trey Quinn to kind of take that 6th wide receiver spot and kind of be our return man and just kind of special teams player. But as Zay Jones, it makes the most sense that if he was to stay on this team, he has 2 years in this system. He seems to have a pretty good rapport with Carr, even though we never see it on the field. You can argue either way you want as far as him not looking towards Zay Jones and Zay Jones being open. Whatever it was, there was just no chemistry there, even though through the offseason it seems like those are the 2 guys that get talked about the most. It just doesn't produce on the field. But Zay Jones having that number 2 spot behind Bryan Edwards kind of speaks volumes, at least at this point right now moving forward. On the other side, you got Ruggs. He's being backed up by John Brown. Renfro's being backed up by Snead. It honestly is kind of shaking out exactly how I thought it was going to and how we've all been discussing. This offense should be able to hold its top 10 spot again through this 2021 season, especially since the running back room is so disgustingly awesome. We are literally going to be able to just get in and pound the shit out of teams and then let Carr just finish it off. But this offensive line has to be able to hold up, and we have to be able to finish in the red zone. There is no other way about that. But I'm giving this offense a solid B+ right now. I'm loving the depth that we have. I'm loving the speed that we have. There's still a tremendous amount of power as far as Gruden's run game goes. And we get to see him in action this week, and I am so pumped up about that. All right, give me just a second. Let me jump over to the defensive side, and then we'll start breaking that down. There was a few surprises on that defensive side that I want to take a look at. All right, let's take a look at this defense real quick, because there was a few things that really shocked the hell out of me as far as this unofficial depth chart went. The first one being, I had to cut out and make Nevin Lawson, which kind of disgusted me, but there he is. He's got on the field. He's actually listed as our number 1 nickel corner. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. I think everybody knows where I stand as far as Nevin Lawson, but I will tell you right behind him on that depth chart is Nate Hobbs, and I guarantee you that kid's going to win this job, and he is going to make the most of it. And the next big thing that stood out was Morrow at the middle linebacker position and Nick Kwiatkowski playing behind him. That honestly shocked the shit out of me. I thought Kwiatkowski was one of the biggest highlights on our defense last season. I don't think there are many people that would argue with that. But Morrow must be doing something truly impressive to have earned that spot. And if he can honestly take over that middle linebacker position as the starter, it's going to free up Nick to do some other things on the field. As far as the Sam linebacker goes, Tanner Muse is in that starting spot. I was happy as hell to see that. I don't know if it's going to stay true, but in my personal opinion, I think it has a legitimate shot at staying true. I really like Tanner Muse. I'm really expecting huge things from him. I know a lot of people tell me I'm crazy for thinking that. Tanner Muse has put in the work. Tanner Muse has the size now, and he definitely has the speed. I'm expecting this kid to be a huge impact on the defense this season. Corey Littleton's picking up the will position. That was pretty much expected. I didn't see too much changing with that. They have Mullen starting on one side. They got Hayward starting on the other. And Trayvon has Keyshawn Nixon backing him up. I honestly thought that was pretty cool. I've been pulling for Keyshawn. I'd really like to see him hold a spot on this team. Hopefully he can make the 53-man roster again. And then you have Arnett backing up Hayward. All this is pretty much shaking out the way that I thought it would. And then this safety room, man. You guys know I love our safeties that we have this season. I really think it's going to be one of the biggest difference makers as far as this defense is concerned. I really feel like this safety room is elite. As far as this depth chart is concerned, we got Trayvon starting at free safety. We got Abram starting at strong safety. I honestly like the way that this looks. I know I've been shuffling Carl Joseph in there a pretty good bit. I really think Carl Joseph is going to get a decent amount of play time this season. But the rookie's been showing up, and he's been doing damn good through camp. I want to see him in these preseason games and see exactly what he brings to the table. And then as far as backing these guys up, we got Carl Joseph backing up Abram, which is pretty much expected. I really like to see Carl Joseph be the number 2 behind both of these guys if he's not going to be the starter, and I really think that's going to be the kind of way that it shakes out. Because behind Trayvon, they have Dalen Levitt as far as the number 2 goes, and that kid is not going to make the cut. I'd much rather see Carl Joseph on the field instead of Levitt. If you disagree with that, please let me know why, because I would love to hear your explanation. And then they have Gillespie as the number 3 strong safety. I'm really hoping that he gets more involved. I want to see him move up a spot, maybe get into that Dalen Levitt position. I really think that would give us the strongest foundation as far as this safety group is concerned. I am loving how this defense is shaken out. The only other big surprise that I think a lot of people saw on this was they had Gerald Mccoy, who we just brought on, listed under other. The only reason that that is happening is because we just brought him onto the team. He has not had a chance to see this system, learn this system. He hasn't even had like 1 or 2 practices under him. He's going to end up taking that number 2 spot from Niall Scott. There's no chance that he gets beat out by Matt Dickerson and Niall Scott. He just needs to get a little bit more play time. Just needs to get a little bit more accustomed to the team and get a few more reps before he starts moving up the depth chart. This defense on paper looks awesome, and it has the depth to support it, and that is something that we have not had in a long ass time. Now if somebody goes down, we actually have somebody that can step up behind them and actually be an impact player. That is some shit that we have not seen on this team in a good minute. I get to see exactly how this team looks in just a few days, and I cannot wait for that shit. Like, I cannot wait. So we're going to keep breaking it down. We're going to keep drawing up these lineups. I really appreciate all you guys that keep coming out for these shows. I truly love doing them. And the feedback that I've been getting lately has just been awesome, so thank you all very much. If you could click the like button on your way out, it really does help me out and keep me growing. So until next time, I'm Son Joku. We will catch you on the next one.